welcome to Meaty Ogre Gaming, and today we're playing Destiny 2. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and salutations. Today, the pit awaits. Let's get to it. The Pit of Heresy is the dungeon on the moon, and it is new this week. Now, in order to get access to the dungeon, you'll need to go to Eris Morn first. She will have a new quest step, and it says something about getting a tier 3 plus chest from the Altar of Sorrows. First thing you're going to do is go up to the north landing zone on the moon, Sorrows Harbor, and you'll notice that there's a new event going on. It is very closely related to the escalation protocol. You have different levels and you get up, start at 1, and then once you complete that, go to 2, and so forth and so on until you get to tier 7, where you fight a boss, and you fight the boss successfully, and then you get a chest. And each level, once you get to tier 3 at least, you'll get a chest if you don't complete it. Alright, so once you fill out that quest step, go back to Eris Morn and talk to her, and then you'll have access to the Pit of Heresy, and you can access it directly from the map. Now, going into the Pit of Heresy, you're going to want a fire team of 3. And the first thing you're going to do is drop. You're going to fall into the moon, and you're basically going to feel like a drill going deeper and deeper into the moon as you go along into this. Now, as you're starting off, you go into the Scarlet Keep. You dropped in. You go to that little green area in the back that you always kind of wondered what was going on with it. It was a shield. The shield drops, and then you can get into the Pit of Heresy. Get to the bottom, and you run and drop some more until you get what looks like a hive civilization. And we'll just go through and tell you just real quickly what you need to do. Go to one of the buildings that have a symbol above it. There's a big green symbol above it. Go to one of those. There'll be a pit knight. It's an orange bar. Take them out. That'll unlock the door to that building. Get into the door, and you'll see one of two different things. You'll either see a sword bearer knight that when you kill, he'll drop a sword, or you'll see a boss, yellow bar boss, either a knight with a shield and a sword, or a Hive Wizard, or a Shrieker. And none of those bosses you'll be able to damage if that is the case. Towards the back wall, there will be 3 chains kind of hanging, and they'll have 3 symbols. Now, when you look for those symbols over the different buildings in the civilization, those are the places where the bosses will be, and it is randomized. The buildings that house the bosses for my run will be different probably than the ones that are in your run. So if you happen to get a boss, just know that's where it's at. Go to a different one. Go to one of the ones that aren't listed on those chains. Get a sword and then come back, or go to one of the other ones. And each boss needs a different action with the sword. The Shrieker, you need to block while aiming at the Shrieker to damage it. The Wizard, you have to use a heavy swing, which works a lot like the Black Talon, so you'll shoot kind of a blade at it. And then the Knight with the sword and the shield, you just do a quick swing. So for the PS4, that is L2 to block, R2 for heavy, and R1 for light. Now, once you take all these bosses out, there'll be a light that is coming out of one of the buildings that wasn't there before. Go to that building, and there'll be one more pit knight that you have to defeat. Once you defeat him, the door will open and you can move forward. Now, once you complete this first encounter, you're going to come to a bridge and then a row and several rows of doors. You're not actually going to go into any of the doors. You're going to look down and to the right. There'll be a slit with a glow coming from it. You're going to go into there to get to the next area. Get in there, and then you'll have to do some more running and dropping and going deeper and deeper into the moon until you get to the pit. Now the pit encounter is very directionally oriented. So I'm going to say you're starting at the northwest corner of the pit, and your objective is going to be at the south end of the map. What you're going to be looking for are 3 heretic knights. Each knight will be in one of the tunnels. You shoot the little orange flap to unlock the tunnel, get in there. You'll have to duck or slide to get into there. And then you'll find corridors and openings that have thrall, acolytes, and 1 knight. And of course, they're in different areas. You're going to take that void charge and go to one of 3 doors. You will have to go to each door. You can't go to the same door more than once. You take that void charge, you slam it, and then that charge is used up. One of the locks is unlocked, and then you'll have to go get another void charge and go to another door. Now, the only thing standing in your way are 3 ogres, but these 3 ogres cannot be damaged, so the only thing you can do is play cat and mouse with them. When they're running towards you, you duck into one of the tunnels. When the coast is clear, you go out and you look for one of those tunnels that has the knight in it. Now, on the north side of the map is more of an open area where you can kind of duck down underneath where the ogres travel, and you'll be relatively safe. Now, there is a way to get into a tunnel from down there and vice versa, as there is a hole in one of the tunnels to go down. Now, as you're going around, you're going to want to look for 3 rocks that look kind of in place up against a wall, but jumping behind the rocks will lead you to a tunnel. Now, this tunnel will eventually lead you to a secret chest. Make sure that you open that chest. It's not necessary, but it is extra loot that you can get. Now, once you've defeated all 3 knights and you've slammed it at each of the 3 doors, both the southwest door, the southeast door, and then of course the main south door, then that last area will open up to you and you'll be at a checkpoint for the next step of the Pit of Heresy. Now, this next step, there is an Annihilator Plate. For people that have done previous raids in Destiny 1, they will recognize the Annihilator Plate. You're going to have some acolytes that are around the plate starting off. Once you get close or start shooting, the event is going to activate. Go ahead and take out the acolytes as quickly as you can, and you have to have a minimum of 1 person standing on that Annihilator Plate at all times. If you do not, you will wipe. You have a short build-up time where that Annihilator Plate will activate, and then everyone will die. So you need at least 1 person on there, and I recommend 2 people. So the setup that I would recommend is having 2 people on or near the Annihilator Plate, where they're on one side or the other, and they can step off and step on and just communicate between each other, saying who's stepping off, who's stepping on, and doing ad control. So the people on the plate are doing ad control, and that's all you're worried about. The 3rd person is going for the void charge. So each time a certain amount of time passes, a Hive Knight, a Heretic Knight, will show up, and of course he has a void charge. That 3rd person, the only thing you're going to worry about is getting that void charge from that knight. You shouldn't be killing ads unless they get in your way. So if it is a survivability question, make sure that you take out ads. Otherwise, you're only going to focus on the knight. And if you're standing on the plate, looking back towards the doorways, the first knight will be on the left, the second knight will be in the middle or forward, and the 3rd knight will be on the right, and then it will rotate again. And you'll have to get these charges over and over again, and it will get more and more intense after each void charge. So you want to maybe not necessarily take your time with the first one, but make sure that you're ready to go for the second and future void charges. So when you get the void charge, you go back to the Annihilator Plate. You'll see a place to slam just right on the right hand side. Make sure you're in the right spot. Slam it, and that will take you down. And it will also reset your debuff. The longer you wait in between charges, the more of a debuff you get. Now, when you slam the last orb, that last rune will disappear off of the side of the doorway, and that's how you know you'll be done, and all the ads will despawn, and you're ready to go on to the next step. The next step has you dropping down again through a hole. Now, this hole is a little bit different than the initial hole when you started the Pit of Heresy, in that there are obstacles that will kill you if you touch them. So again, just drop down. Timing is going to be a little bit more important here, and get to the bottom, and then you'll be ready for your next encounter. The next encounter has you jumping and dodging and weaving among rocks and crevices and around these spiky lanterns and logs. Now the lanterns will help you out as well because they will show you potentially places that you can jump to, or you'll know that there is no place or ledge to jump to. This area has 3 wizards. You're going to seek out these wizards and take them out. When you see enemies popping up on your radar, then you know you're in the right spot. Now with 3 of you, you can split up and you can find the wizards and take them out. Otherwise, you can go together and take out the adds all at once. Once you get the 3 wizards, then the respawn restriction will drop off and you'll hear a confirmation that says you're ready to go on to the next location. If you happen to die while looking for the door going forward, you can respawn very quickly and it should put you close to the door. So if you're a ways away from the door or you're not really sure where it's at, then you can just jump off the ledge and then it should respawn you close to the door. Now you're ready for the final encounter. The final encounter is with a giant crystal and a knight. And of course, the knight is immune to damage. Now this is very similar to the setup in the Hive Civilization encounter. You have 3 rooms and you'll be able to see them very clearly. One on the right that has a wizard, one on the left that has a knight with a sword and a shield, and then way in the back there is a shrieker, and you're going to have to kill sword bearer knights, pick up the sword, and then do that damage type that will damage each of those bosses or side bosses, and they will all drop a void charge. When you have the void charge, you bring it to the middle, slam it, obviously staying a little bit away, give a little bit of a distance between you and the boss, because he can kill you or knock you off. And then of course there's that 50-second timer that you have to wait until you can respawn unless someone picks you up. So the Hive Wizard, of course, you use a heavy sword swing. The knight with the shield and the sword, you use a quick swing, and then the shrieker you block or shield, and make sure you're aiming at that shrieker, and that will take them out. If you start getting low on health, especially with the wizard, you really have to be careful. Make sure that you either shield or go outside of that room and kind of rotate around it, get your health back, and then get back in there. If any of the acolytes come at you at the outside, go ahead and do 2 quick swings and that should take him out. Now, once you have all 3 void charges slammed, you are now ready for the damage phase. There'll be a green glow in that circle where the knight is. You'll have to get into that circle and start doing damage. So supers, heavies, whatever you have to take down his health. He will still attack you. He still can take you out. So do keep a little bit of distance if possible while damaging him. You can use a sword, but you will have to be sure to back off away from him after he swings at you once. Now at some point he is going to slam his sword into the ground, and then you'll see a message or warning or debuff, whatever you want to call it, on the left hand side of the screen, and the green glow will get more intense. This is your signal to leave the circle. You can no longer damage the knight. You need to get out. So as long as you're outside that green circle, you're okay. If you stay in there, you're gonna die. So get out of the circle and then just rinse and repeat. Take out the sword bearer knights, take out those side bosses, get the void charge, slam it, and then do damage to the boss. Now the boss will intensify his attacks and do some long range attacks as you're damaging him and as his health gets lower, but otherwise it's the same fight just over and over until you take him out. And that's it. Once you finish off this boss, you are guaranteed 1 piece of pinnacle gear, and most likely it will be a curated or fully masterworked piece of gear. So do enjoy that new piece of gear, and hopefully it is a piece that you actually need. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check us out on social media, and thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and we'll see you next time.